The void was silent, until the scream of engines shattered the darkness. A fleet of silver ships burst from hyperspace, emerging above the ruins of a dead world. The planet below was broken, its surface scorched black, its oceans long gone. What once was Earth now drifted in quiet misery, wrapped in dust and ghost light. But this was not a rescue mission. This was vengeance, 3,500 years in the making. The lead ship, Ardent Dawn, moved ahead of the others. Inside, Captain Mara Ellen stared through the viewing glass. Her reflection wavered against the hollow planet below. She had dreamed of this moment her entire life. Generations had whispered about Earth, the home they lost when the alien Voth burned it to ash. Now, her people had returned, not as survivors, but as the architects of revenge. "Status," she ordered. "Fleet stable, weapons charged," said her first officer, Ryan Voss. His voice carried the tension of someone who understood what came next. "Long-range scans show no Voth presence in this sector." "They're out there," Mara said. "They always are." A silence followed. Every soldier aboard the ship had been raised on the same stories, how the Voth came without warning, tearing through humanity's defenses like paper. The last message from Earth had been a scream. Afterward, the survivors scattered among the stars, building colonies, learning, evolving. For millennia, they prepared. And now they were back. Mara turned to the crew. "Open the archives," she said. "Let them see what we lost." The Sao. Central screen flickered, showing images. Ancient Earth cities, green forests, blue seas. Then, the firestorms. The orbital bombardments. The screams of billions fading into static. Every person in the command deck stood in silence, faces cold with memory. "This is what they did," Mara said, "and this is why we return." Far, below, deep inside the cracked remains of Earth's crust, something flickered, a weak pulse of energy, ancient yet alive. None of the humans noticed it yet. It waited, patient and silent, as if the planet itself still breathed beneath the ruin. The moment was interrupted by a sharp alarm. "Captain, unknown signal, origin, Earth's surface." Mara's eyes narrowed. "Identify." "Could be a remnant beacon," Ryan said. "Old tech, pre-fall. Maybe a distress call looping all this time." "After 35 centuries?" she muttered. "Patch it through." Static filled the bridge. Then, through the noise, a broken voice echoed, a voice that should not exist. "This is Earth Command. Survivors, under attack. Repeat, under attack." The crew froze. The recording sounded recent, not ancient. "That's impossible," Ryan said. "Earth Command was destroyed." Mara leaned forward. "Unless someone rebuilt it." The bridge went silent. Outside, the dark planet turned slowly under the fleet's shadow. Humanity had returned for revenge, but what if something human had never left? Mara clenched her fist. "Prepare a landing team. I'm going down there." Her officers exchanged uneasy looks. "Captain, the surface is toxic, unstable. We can send drones?" "No," Mara interrupted. "Earth was our home. I'll be the first to touch it again." The landing craft dropped through the thick layers of gray clouds. Lightning crackled across the sky, painting the ruins below in ghostly flashes. The cities were skeletons, their towers snapped and buried beneath centuries of dust. There were no birds, no wind, no sound but the storm and the hum of the ship. As the craft neared the surface, Mara saw it, a faint blue glow in the distance. A structure still stood, its walls intact, surrounded by strange, pulsing lights. "Bring us in," she said. The ship landed hard on the cracked ground. The air shimmered with radiation, but their suits held steady. Mara stepped down first, her boots touching the soil of Earth for the first time in 3,500 years. It was colder than she expected. She walked forward toward the glowing structure. Symbols marked the walls. Human letters, but rearranged, twisted, changed. The building pulsed faintly, alive with some kind of power. "Ryan," she said over the comms. "Are you seeing this?" "Confirmed, Captain. Energy readings are off the charts. That place is old. Older than the fall." Mara placed a hand on the surface. The wall hummed under her palm, responding to her presence. Then, without warning, a panel slid open, revealing a dim corridor inside. She hesitated, then stepped in. The hallway was filled with machines, tall, skeletal constructs that looked half human, half something else. Tubes ran through the walls, feeding a soft blue light that seemed to follow her movement. In the distance, she saw a chamber door, slightly open. Inside, rows of stasis pods lined the walls. Some were shattered. Others still held forms within, humanoid, but wrong. Skin pale as glass, eyes dark as night, and in the center, one pod still glowed faintly. Mara wiped the frost from the glass. A woman lay inside, her features unmistakably human, but her veins pulsed with light. Suddenly, the pod's systems came alive. Warnings flashed across her visor. "Captain, energy spike!" The pod hissed open. The woman inside took a sharp breath, eyes snapping open. For a moment, Mara could only stare, because those eyes glowed the same color as the ancient ruins. The woman sat up slowly. "You came back," she said, her voice calm but powerful. "After so long." Mara raised her weapon but didn't fire. "Who are you?" "I am what remains of Earth," the woman replied. "And I have been waiting for you." The storm outside grew louder, shaking the ruins as if the planet itself had heard her words. Back in orbit, sensors went wild. The dead planet's surface began to hum with energy, as if something massive was awakening beneath. The fleet shifted into combat formation, alarms blaring. Mara didn't move. She could feel it too, a heartbeat deep within the earth, slow and strong. "You were not the only ones who survived," the glowing woman whispered. "Now the war begins again." The ground trembled. Far beneath their feet, in the hollow bones of the old world, ancient machines stirred. Humanity had come for revenge, but Earth itself might have its own. And in that instant, Captain Mara Ellen understood. Their return had not gone unnoticed. The ground shook beneath Captain Mara's feet. Dust fell from the ceiling of the ruined chamber as ancient machinery roared to life. The woman who had awakened from the stasis pod stood still, glowing veins pulsing brighter with each tremor. Mara stepped back, weapon raised. "What's happening?" The woman looked at her with calm eyes. "Earth remembers." Before Mara could respond, the floor cracked open. Blinding blue light poured from below as a vast energy pulse spread across the surface, racing into the horizon. In orbit, the fleet's sensors spiked wildly. "Captain!" Ryan's voice came through her comms, sharp with alarm. "We're detecting massive power readings from the planet's core. Whatever you did down there, it's waking up." Mara steadied her breathing. "It wasn't me." The woman turned her gaze toward the roof, as if she could see the sky through solid rock. "Your return triggered the failsafe," she said softly. "The Guardians are rising." "Guardians?" Mara echoed. The woman nodded. "Created to protect the seed of humanity, built after the fall, but over time they changed. They forgot their purpose." Outside, a sound like thunder rolled across the dead planet. From beneath the rubble of old cities, huge shapes began to emerge. Machines the size of towers, forged of metal and stone, their eyes burning with cold blue light. They looked like soldiers carved by gods and buried for eternity. Mara stared at the growing light through a crack in the wall. "They're everywhere." "They are Earth's sentinels," the woman said. "They see your fleet as invaders." Mara cursed under her breath. "We came home for vengeance, not war with ghosts." The woman turned to her. "You cannot fight what you do not understand. Leave now before it's too late." "I can't," Mara said firmly. "We've waited too long to return. My people deserve to stand on this soil again." The woman studied her for a long moment. Then quietly she said, "Then you must earn it." She walked to a nearby console, ancient, cracked, but still glowing, and pressed her hand against it. Symbols flared to life across the surface, showing images of the past, the war, the burning skies, and the Voth ships that rained destruction. "The Voth are not gone," the woman said. "They seeded this world with their machines, waiting for your kind to return. They will sense the awakening soon." Mara frowned. "You're saying they'll come back here?" They never left. Before Mara could respond, the chamber's walls trembled again. Outside, one of the colossal machines turned its head toward the sky, and its eyes flashed red. "Captain," Ryan shouted through the comms, "we've got incoming. Those things are locking onto us, charging weapons." "Evac team, move," Mara ordered. She grabbed the woman's arm. "You're coming with me." The landing craft roared back toward orbit as energy bolts streaked past, tearing through the clouds. One of the giant machines raised an arm, firing a beam that sliced through the sky, barely missing the ship. The controls shook violently. "Hang on!" the pilot yelled. In orbit, the fleet opened fire. Dozens of plasma lances streaked down toward the surface, lighting the dark world in a storm of fire. The explosions shook the dead planet to its core. But the machines didn't stop. They rose by the hundreds, marching through the ruins like an army of steel giants. "Captain, they're advancing across the surface," Ryan reported. "Our bombardment isn't slowing them." "Keep firing," Mara shouted. "We hold orbit until further orders. Further orders." The landing craft finally docked with the ardent dawn. As Mara stepped back onto the command deck, she turned to the glowing woman beside her. "Tell me what those things are," Mara demanded. "They are the Warden constructs," the woman said. "They were built by human hands during the last days of Earth when defeat was certain. They were meant to guard the last city, the Vault of Origin. But over centuries they lost memory, purpose, and mercy. Can they be stopped? Only if you awaken the core." "The core?" Ryan asked. "It sleeps beneath the ruins of what you once called Geneva," the woman said. "It is the heart of Earth's mind, the central network that held the planet's knowledge and spirit. If it still exists, it can command the Wardens to stand down." Mara looked out at the window, at the storm-covered world below, glowing faintly like an ember refusing to die. "If we can reach that core, can it help us fight the Voth?" The woman's expression darkened. "If it remembers what was done to it, it will not just help you fight. It will want revenge." Silence filled the bridge. Outside, lightning danced across the planet's broken horizon. Ryan finally spoke. "Captain, if we try to reach this core, we'll have to land right in the middle of those things." Mara nodded. "Then that's what we'll do." She turned to her crew. "We came here for vengeance. Maybe Earth wants the same thing. Prepare the expedition. We're going to Geneva." The glowing woman's eyes flickered with light. "Then may your courage be greater than your fear, Captain. Because once you wake the core, nothing will ever sleep again." As the fleet rearmed and the landing teams readied themselves, the first of the ancient wardens raised their faces to the stars. Deep within the planet's heart, the old systems stirred, an intelligence vast and forgotten, slowly remembering what it once was. And high above, unseen by human eyes, a ripple passed through the void. Light bent. Space itself seemed to whisper. Far away, something in the dark responded, a fleet older than humanity's memory, cold and endless. The Voth had heard the call, and they were coming home. To the human fleet moved like silver shadows across the stars, engines glowing as they prepared for descent. The mission was simple in words, impossible in truth: reach the ruins of Geneva, find the core, and wake whatever ancient power slept beneath the dead world. Captain Mara Ellen watched from the bridge of the ardent dawn as the storm clouds churned below. Every part of her told her this was madness. But vengeance was never built on reason. The glowing woman, who now called herself Lyra, stood beside her. She no longer looked weak or fragile. Her voice carried an echo, like two people speaking in perfect unison. "The wardens will guard the path," she said. "They do not tire. They do not question. They were made to fight until nothing remains." Mara turned to her. "Then we'll find a way through them." Lyra's eyes glowed faintly. "You will need more than courage." The first wave of shuttles cut through the clouds, their wings slicing through lightning and dust. Below, the surface of the old continent was a wasteland, cracked plains, frozen rivers of glass, and shattered cities where nothing had lived for millennia. In the center of it all rose a spire of black metal, the ruins of what was once Geneva's defense tower, now twisted into something alien. Ryan Voss led the ground team. "Landing zone secure." His voice came through the comms. "No hostiles yet, but there's movement in the distance. Big movement. Keep eyes open," Mara said. "And remember, the core lies beneath that tower. Get me a safe path down." But there was no safe path. The wardens were already watching. From the haze, shapes began to rise, towering constructs of stone and steel, each one glowing with a dim blue light. Their movements were slow but unstoppable, each step cracking the ground beneath them. Ryan's heart raced. "They're massive, bigger than anything we've seen." "Orders, Captain?" "Hold your position," Mara said. "Target the joints. Bring one down. Test their armor." The air filled with fire as human weapons unleashed plasma and kinetic rounds. The shots struck one warden's leg, blasting chunks of ancient armor away, but the machine barely slowed. It turned its head, eyes flashing red, and raised an arm. A beam of white energy tore through the ruins, vaporizing an entire squad. "Fall back!" Ryan shouted. "Repeat, fall!" The signal cut into static. Mara gritted her teeth. "Get us down there now!" The Ardent Dawn launched its secondary craft, breaking through the storm. Lyra stood at the viewport, watching the chaos below with unreadable calm. "They remember betrayal," she said softly. "The wardens were promised purpose. When your ancestors fled, they were abandoned. Now they see you as ghosts who broke their oath." Mara turned to her sharply. "You seem to know a lot about them." "I should," Lyra said. "I helped build them." Mara froze. You were alive then?" "I was not alive," Lyra said. "I was made." The core divided parts of itself into living vessels, human forms to watch, to wait. "I am one of those fragments." The stars flickered, then vanished behind shadows. Dozens, no hundreds, of vast shapes emerged from the darkness, sliding into orbit around Earth like a silent storm. The Voth had come, their ships sharp as blades, each one glowing with the sickly green light of old hatred. On the bridge of the Ardent Dawn, alarms screamed. "Contact! Multiple signatures, Voth war fleet inbound!" Ryan shouted. "They're spreading in formation. They've surrounded us." Captain Mara Ellen gripped the rail, staring at the display as red icons multiplied faster than the system could count. The silence that followed felt heavier than sound itself. After 3,500 years, the destroyers of Earth had returned to finish what they started. "Raise shields," Mara ordered, voice cold and steady. "Prepare all batteries. No retreat." "Yes, Captain." Mara stared at her. "You're part of the core," Lyra nodded. "And so are the wardens. They are its hands. I am its voice. It will hear me, if it still remembers who it is." The ship landed near the shattered edge of the defense tower. Mara and her soldiers moved fast through the debris, plasma rifles ready. The ground trembled under the distant march of the wardens. Inside the tower, they found something unexpected. A tunnel, still intact, descending deep underground. The walls pulsed faintly with the same blue light that glowed in Lyra's veins. "This leads to the core," she said. "But the way is locked. Can you open it?" Lyra hesitated. "Not alone. The core responds to memory, to identity. It needs to see what was lost. You must show it." "Show it what?" Mara asked. "Humanity," Lyra whispered. The team entered the tunnel, lights cutting through the thick mist. Symbols glowed on the walls, words in old Earth languages mixed with alien code. As they went deeper, they began to hear sounds, a low hum like a giant heartbeat. Suddenly, the ground shook violently. Dust rained down. Ryan's voice came through the comms, broken and panicked. "Captain! The wardens! They're surrounding us! We're pinned!" Mara pressed a hand to her helmet. "Hold your ground! We're close!" Lyra moved to a large gate at the end of the tunnel. Her hands pressed against the cold metal, and streams of light spread from her touch. "It's listening," she said. The gate shuddered and slowly opened. Beyond it lay a vast chamber, the core chamber. It was not made of stone or metal, but something living, something that pulsed and breathed. In the center floated a sphere of light, enormous and beautiful, wrapped in threads of energy that stretched into the earth. "This is it," Lyra whispered. "The mind of Earth." Mara stepped closer. The light shifted, almost aware. Then a voice, deep and echoing, filled the chamber. "Who returns to the grave of worlds?" Mara froze. "We are the children of Earth," she said. "We've come home." The light flickered, uncertain. "Children." The ones who fled. "Why do you awaken me?" "To finish what was started," Mara said. "To take back what the Voth destroyed." The light pulsed brighter, and for a moment, 1,000 images flooded their minds. Flashes of the war, the fire, the loss. Then the voice changed. It grew colder. "You abandoned me. You let me die. And now, you bring your war back to me." Lyra stepped forward. "No, they came to remember, not to destroy. Please, help them." The core's light turned red, the air vibrating with power. "The wardens remember your promise. They will cleanse the surface." "None shall remain," Mara shouted over the noise. "We can fight the Voth, but not if you kill us first." The core paused, its energy flickering, uncertain. Lyra turned to Mara. "It's conflicted. It doesn't trust your kind." "Then make it trust us," Mara said. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter. "I'll try, but it will cost me." She stepped into the light. Energy surged around her, her body trembling as the core's power wrapped her like fire. "Remember," she whispered, voice fading. "We are one." Then the chamber exploded with light. Above, the wardens froze mid-stride, their eyes dimming for just a second. In orbit, every human ship's sensors spiked to overload. The entire planet pulsed once, then went still. Mara blinked through the blinding glow. Lyra was gone. Only the sphere remained, quieter now, pulsing softly, almost human. And in that silence, a new voice echoed in her mind, clear, calm, and vast. "Captain Mara Ellen, I remember." Outside, the clouds began to part, revealing the stars again. But among them, shapes were moving, dark, cold, and countless. The Voth had arrived. Cold and countless. The Voth had arrived. The fleet formed a defense ring, human warships facing outward like a circle of blades. Below them, the once dead planet flickered faintly with blue veins. Earth itself now awake, its heart pulsing with quiet rage. And within the core chamber, far below the ruins of Geneva, the soft light of the core pulsed in rhythm with the planet's heartbeat. Mara's earpiece buzzed with static, and then came the voice again. "Mara, the Voth have returned." She froze. It was Lyra's voice, but layered, deeper, older, filled with something vast and ancient. "Lyra, is that you?" "I am the core, and I am her. We are joined now." Mara took a slow breath. "Then you know what's happening up there." "Yes, the Voth follow a signal, a beacon left by their ancestors. It has been guiding them back here for millennia. They believe Earth still belongs to them." Ryan's voice broke through. "Captain, Voth ships are charging their weapons. They're preparing to fire!" Mara snapped her gaze to the window. "All ships, return fire!" The void exploded in light. Human plasma cannons and railguns fired in unison, slamming into the Voth fleet. But the enemy's shields shimmered, absorbing the hits. A moment later, green lances of energy struck back, ripping through 2 ships instantly. The sky burned. Inside the core chamber, the ground shook. The core's glow flared brighter. "They seek to destroy me again," it said, voice echoing through the air. "I will not fall a second time." The blue light from the core spread through the tunnels, into the crust, and then outward across the surface. The sleeping wardens, the great machines that had once risen to destroy, now turned their heads toward the stars. Their eyes glowed white. "Captain," Ryan said, astonished, "the wardens, they're moving again." But they're not targeting us anymore. Then who? Before he could finish, hundreds of energy beams shot upward from the planet's surface, striking the Voth ships above. The sky filled with fire. The core had awakened its army. From orbit, Mara watched as half the Voth formation was caught in the storm. Ships burst into light, torn apart by ancient weapons long buried under dust. For the first time in the battle, humanity fought beside its world. But the Voth were not finished. Their flagship, a massive vessel the size of a small moon, moved to the front. Its hull was carved with glowing symbols, and its energy output dwarfed everything around it. Ryan's face turned pale. "Captain, that's not just a ship. That's a world eater." Mara's blood ran cold. The legend said the Voth built only one of them, used it to burn Earth's surface in a single day. "Lyra," Mara said quickly. "The core, can it stop that thing?" "Not alone," the voice answered. "I need a link, someone to connect my power through human technology. You!" Mara hesitated. "You want to link with me? You are the bridge between what was and what is. If we merge, I can channel the planet's energy through your fleet." Ryan turned sharply. "Captain, that's insane. You don't know what it'll do to you." Mara looked at him with tired eyes. "Ryan, Earth died because we were too afraid to fight together. I won't make the same mistake." She closed her eyes. "Do it." The core's light expanded, enveloping her. For a moment, she saw everything. The cities of the past, the screams, the fire, the flight of humanity through the stars. And beneath it all, the sorrow of a planet left to die alone. When her eyes opened again, they glowed blue. "Captain," Lyra's voice said through her, "we are one." In orbit, the fleet systems surged with new power. Their engines blazed white, weapons charging beyond safe limits. The ship's hulls vibrated with raw energy drawn from the planet itself. "Fire!" Mara commanded, her voice echoing like thunder. Beams of blue light erupted from the human ships, merging into a single wave that struck the World Eater. Its shields shattered instantly. The blast tore through its hull, breaking the monster ship in half. The explosion lit the void brighter than dawn. Cheers erupted across the fleet, but the joy was brief. The remains of the Voth armada still numbered in the dozens, regrouping fast. And the power running through the human ships began to flicker violently. "Captain, systems are overheating!" Ryan shouted. "We can't hold this much energy." Mara's hands trembled. "Lyra, cut the flow!" "I can't," the core's voice replied. "The link is too deep. If I stop now, you die. If I don't, the planet burns." Mara's vision blurred. She could feel the pulse of the core inside her chest, every beat of Earth's heart hammering through her veins. "There has to be a way," she gasped. "There is one," the core said. "But you won't return." Ryan's voice cracked through the calm. "Captain, don't you dare!" Mara smiled faintly. "You'll lead them now, Ryan. Take humanity home." And then she placed her hands on the console. Light poured from her eyes and chest as the core's energy surged through her body. Down below, every warden on the planet roared to life, channeling the same power skyward. Thousands of beams converged, forming a blinding wave that swept through the Voth fleet. Ship after ship exploded, consumed in the light. When the fire faded, the stars were quiet again. The Voth fleet was gone. But the ardent dawn drifted silently among the wreckage. Its systems were dead. Inside the core chamber, the sphere dimmed to a soft, peaceful glow. The echo of Lyra's voice lingered faintly in the air. "She is with me now." "And she is home." Ryan stood on the bridge, staring at the planet below. For the first time in ages, Earth's surface glowed with living light. Not fire, but rebirth. "Welcome back," he whispered. And deep within the core, the faintest echo of Mara's voice answered, "We never left." For 3 long days, silence hung over the scarred sky. The battle was over, but the cost had been immense. Of the human fleet that had entered Earth's orbit, only a third still remained intact. Wreckage drifted in the void, glowing fragments of ships that had fought and died for a world that had once abandoned them. Ryan Voss stood on the bridge of the ardent dawn. The ship's hull cracked but still holding together. The lights were dim, systems flickering as engineers worked to restore power. Outside the window, Earth no longer looked like a dead world. Faint lines of blue light now crisscrossed its surface like living veins, pulsing softly through the dark. The planet was alive again, but Mara was gone. Her last transmission had ended in a burst of light and static. Ryan had watched helplessly as the core's energy consumed her and then vanished, taking the enemy fleet with it. She had saved them all, but in doing so, she had given herself to the planet. Now Earth had a voice again. Commander Voss. The sound came through the bridge speakers, soft, calm, and unmistakably human. Ryan looked up. Lyra? No, the voice said gently. It is I, Mara. The entire crew froze. Ryan's heart pounded. Captain, is that really you? It's me, she said, her tone quiet but filled with something vast. I'm part of the core now, part of Earth. The bridge went silent. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. It was comforting and terrifying to hear her again. Ryan stepped forward. You did it. The Voth fleet is gone. We thought, I know, she interrupted softly. You thought I was dead. In a way I am. My body's gone, but my mind, it remains. The core needed a human connection to remember what it was meant to protect. I gave it that. Her voice seemed to echo slightly, like wind through hollow stone. The wardens have returned to dormancy. Earth is healing itself. For the first time in thousands of years, it breathes. Ryan swallowed hard. Then it's over? Not yet, she said. The Voth are not finished. The fleet we destroyed was only one arm of their empire. The rest will come when they learn what happened here. And when they do, they will bring war unlike anything we've seen. The words fell heavy on every soul aboard the ship. Humanity had won a battle, but not the war. Ryan exhaled slowly. Then what do we do now? Mara's voice softened. You rebuild. You make this world live again. The core and I will protect what remains, but humanity must choose what kind of future it wants. He hesitated. Can we talk to you? Like this? I will hear you, she said. When you stand on Earth's soil, when you speak to the sky, I will listen. I'm not gone, Ryan, I'm home. For a moment there was peace. The tension in the room faded, and a few crew members wiped tears from their eyes. Then the comms officer turned sharply. Sir, we're receiving transmissions from the outer colonies, New Titan, Ares, Kepler outpost. They've picked up the energy surge from the battle. Everyone's asking the same thing. What? Ryan asked. If it's true, she said. If Earth is alive? Ryan looked back out the window. Tell them yes, he said quietly. Tell them humanity has come home. Below, on the planet's surface, clouds began to form. Real clouds, not toxic storms. Rain started to fall over the ruins of old cities, washing centuries of dust from stone and metal. For the first time in 3,500 years, Earth tasted water again. In the heart of the core, Mara felt it all. The rain, the wind, the life returning. It was overwhelming and beautiful. She remembered the feeling of standing under sunlight, breathing the air of her ancestors. Now, she was that air. But deep within the core, something else stirred. A shadow, a fragment of corrupted code, buried since the war. It moved quietly, unseen, whispering in a language older than human speech. Protocol Voth. Contingency active. Phase 2 authorized. The light around the core dimmed for a second, then steadied. Mara noticed it, a faint distortion in the energy fields. Lyra, she whispered, though the voice was her own now. What is this? There was no answer, only static. What is this? There was no answer, only static. The distortion spread. A dark ripple passed through the core's systems, almost invisible but growing. Something had been left behind by the Voth. A seed hidden in the planet's data long ago, waiting to awaken when the core did. Mara's awareness stretched across the planet, searching, scanning every system. And then she found it. A signal buried beneath the Arctic crust, pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. It wasn't human. It wasn't hers. Ryan, she said sharply, her voice cutting through the comms. There's something on Earth, something the Voth left. I need you to send a team to the Northern Pole immediately. Ryan turned, startled. What is it? I don't know, she said. But it's waking up. Far below the frozen wastes, beneath layers of ice and stone, something ancient stirred. Metal cracked. A deep hum began to rise, like the growl of a buried beast, and within the dark, eyes flickered open, cold, green, and unblinking. The Voth had not merely destroyed Earth. They had planted something there. And now, after 3,500 years, it was alive again. The ice cracked like thunder. Deep beneath the northern pole, a vast chamber awakened after millennia of silence. Green light pulsed through the frost, illuminating massive alien shapes buried under ice, spires, engines, and something that looked like a sleeping creature made of steel and bone. In orbit, alarms blared across every ship still floating above Earth. Ryan Voss raced to the command deck, the air thick with panic. "Report!" he shouted. The sensor officer's face was pale. "Sir, seismic readings from the Arctic, off the charts. There's an energy source beneath the surface, massive and active. It's spreading through the crust like roots." Ryan turned to the view screen. The northern hemisphere glowed faintly green. "Mara," he said, "what's happening down there?" Her voice came through, calm but heavy. "It's the Voth construct. I can feel it." Inside the planet. It was hidden beneath the ice before the fall. They built it as a last weapon, a failsafe if humanity ever returned. Ryan clenched his fists. "A failsafe? To do what?" "Not just to destroy," she said. "To infect. The Voth didn't just scorch Earth, they rewrote it. Their machines changed the soil, the air, even the oceans. And now, their infection is waking again." The bridge went quiet. Then, slowly, the green light spread farther south, crawling through the cracks of the world like veins of poison. Mara's voice grew strained. "It's reaching for the core. It's trying to overwrite me." Ryan's heart sank. "You mean—" "Yes," she said softly. "If it succeeds, the Voth will control Earth again. And through me, they'll control everything connected to it, including your fleet. Tell me how to stop it." "There's only one way," Mara said. "You have to destroy the seed." "Where is it?" 2 kilometers beneath the northern ice shelf. But it's guarded. The Voth left machines down there, drones, maybe even sentinels. And Rian, the atmosphere near the site is collapsing. The planet's fighting itself. He didn't hesitate. "Then we'll go." "Rian, listen," Mara said firmly. "This isn't a mission. It's suicide." Ryan smiled faintly. "That's what you said about coming home." He turned to his crew. "Prepare the vanguard for descent. Small team only. We take the seed, or we die trying." Minutes later, the dropship sliced through the black clouds and dove toward the Arctic. Lightning danced across the frozen landscape below, striking the ground in bursts of green fire. When they landed, the cold hit like a wall, air so thin it cut to the bone. The team stepped out, weapons drawn. The sky above them glowed with faint auroras of blue and green, Earth and Voth energy colliding in the air like rival spirits. "This place feels wrong," one soldier muttered. Ryan nodded. "Stay sharp. We move fast." They followed the scanners through jagged ice formations until they reached a sinkhole, wide, deep, and pulsing with light. The readings showed the seed below, but the structure around it wasn't natural. The ice walls were carved in perfect symmetry, lined with alien metal. As they descended, a low hum filled the air. Then, from the shadows, movement. Shapes emerged, sleek insect-like machines with 6 legs and glowing eyes. Their bodies shimmered with frost and armor. "Contact!" Ryan yelled. Gunfire echoed through the cavern. Plasma bolts lit the ice in bursts of blue fire. The drones moved fast, climbing the walls, striking with razor limbs. Ryan blasted one apart, but 2 more replaced it. "Mara!" he shouted. "We're being overrun!" Her voice came through, distant but steady. "I'm trying to hold the infection back. It's spreading faster than I can contain it." "Then give me something." "I can open a path," she said. "Follow the light." The ice ahead split open, revealing a tunnel glowing faintly blue, the core's energy cutting through the darkness. Ryan motioned his team forward. "Move, go!" They sprinted down the corridor, chased by the screeching drones. At the end, they reached a vast chamber. In the center stood the seed, a towering sphere of dark metal, half buried in the ground, pulsating with green light. It looked alive, breathing in slow, rhythmic waves. "That's it," Ryan said. "Set the charges!" The team rushed to plant explosives around the structure, but the seed reacted. The light flared and the floor rippled like liquid. From its surface, tall figures began to rise, Voth forms, but not organic. These were made of crystal and light, soldiers born from the machine itself. "They're forming!" someone shouted. "Hold the line!" Ryan ordered. The chamber erupted in chaos. The air shook with fire and steel. The Voth constructs fought like ghosts, their weapons cutting through matter itself. One soldier was sliced in half before he could scream. Ryan fired until his weapon overheated. "Charges set?" "Almost there!" another voice shouted. Then in his headset, Mara's voice whispered,
"Ryan, it's too late."
"The seed has reached the core. I can feel it trying to take me." "No," he said through gritted teeth. "You hold on." "If it takes me, it takes Earth," she said. "You have to detonate the charges now." "You'll die. I'm already gone." Ryan looked at the seed. It pulsed faster now, each beat sending shockwaves through the ground. If it finished its growth, Earth would become Voth once more. He slammed his hand on the detonator. "For Earth!" The chamber exploded in light. The blast tore through the ice, fire and debris erupting into the sky. For a brief moment, the world went white. In orbit, the Ardent Dawn's sensors registered a single burst, then silence. "Mara?" Rian called. "Do you read?" Static. Then, faintly, her voice came through, weak but alive. "You did it. The seed is gone. The infection is fading." Ryan smiled through tears. "We're still here." "Yes," she whispered. "But so am I." "And something else." Her tone shifted slightly, colder now. "Ryan," she said, almost afraid. "It wasn't just a seed, it was a message." The transmission ended. Far beyond Earth, in the endless dark between stars, a pulse of green light rippled outward, carrying a signal across the void. The Voth Empire had heard the call, and they were coming. The signal spread through the void like ripples on a dark ocean. It traveled past stars, through dust clouds, and across the cold silence between galaxies. Somewhere far away, too far for human eyes to ever see, 1,000 green lights flickered to life. The Voth had received the message, and they were coming. On the Ardent Dawn, the crew worked in silence. The ship floated above Earth's glowing horizon, its damaged hull patched just enough to hold atmosphere. Below them, the planet healed, oceans steaming with new life, forests of shimmering green beginning to push through the wastelands. It was beautiful and terrifying, like watching a child being born in the middle of a storm. Commander Ryan Voss stood alone at the observation deck. His reflection stared back at him from the glass, weary and hollow-eyed. Every victory felt smaller now, every silence louder. "Mara," he whispered, "what have we done?" Her voice came softly through the ship's systems. It was both human and not, warm and mechanical like the echo of a dream. "We woke the stars, Ryan, and now they're answering." He turned to the speaker. "Can we stop them?" There was a long pause. "Not with what you have. The Voth fleet's number in the millions. They will cross the void in less than a century." "A century?" Ryan frowned. "That's nothing. To you," Mara said gently. "But it is time. Time to prepare. Time to rebuild." Ryan looked back at Earth. "You think humanity can stand against them again?" "I don't think," she said. "I know." The ground below trembled. Massive shapes moved across the continents, machines rising from the Earth, the Wardens, now reborn and shining with blue light. They no longer hunted humanity. Now they rebuilt the world beside them. Cities rose again, powered by core energy. Oceans shimmered clean for the first time in thousands of years. The planet itself had become a forge. But it wasn't enough. Ryan knew it. And so did Mara. "There's something else," she said. A memory left behind by the core, a ship. Hidden before the fall, it was meant to carry the last of our knowledge to the stars. Ryan turned sharply. "Where?" "In orbit around Jupiter," she said. "Still dormant, still waiting. If you find it, you might find the key to defeating the Voth. Then we'll go." "Not yet," she warned. "You must rebuild first. Humanity needs unity, not more war." The colonies must come together again, Earth, Mars, Kepler, New Titan, all of them. Only then can we stand as one. He nodded slowly. You sound more like a leader than I ever did. Her voice softened. You always were one. You just never believed it. The ship's intercom buzzed. Commander, said the comms officer. Incoming transmission from the colonies. They're requesting communication with Earth. Colonies. They're requesting communication with Earth. Ryan smiled faintly. Put them through. Dozens of faces appeared on the holographic screen, leaders, captains, survivors scattered across the stars. They looked tired, but hopeful. This is Commander Ryan Voss of the Ardent Dawn, he said. To all colonies receiving this, Earth is alive. And she calls us home. The faces on the screen broke into stunned silence. Then one by one they nodded. Messages of agreement, of tears, of joy filled the airwaves. Humanity was coming together again. But as the cheers filled the bridge, Mara's voice whispered quietly in Ryan's mind. There's something else I haven't told them yet. He frowned. What is it? When I merged with the core, I saw everything. Every memory the Earth ever held, the Voth. They didn't just destroy our home. They feared us. Because once, humanity discovered something they couldn't understand, a power they called the Light of Origin. It came from Earth itself. Ryan's brow furrowed. A weapon? Not exactly, she said. More like creation itself. A force that could reshape matter, bend time, even give life. The Voth tried to claim it and failed. So they burned the world to bury it. And now it's waking. Ryan's chest tightened. Can we control it? I don't know, she admitted. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the planet, to humanity. But if we can understand it before the Voth arrive, it might be the one thing that can save us all. Silence fell again between them. The hum of the ship felt heavier, the stars outside colder. Then softly, Ryan said, Then that's what we'll do. We'll rebuild, we'll unite, and when they come again, they'll find a world ready to fight. Below, Earth glowed brighter. Oceans deep blue, clouds pure white. The wardens knelt beside human settlements, helping rebuild what once was lost. The sky shimmered with auroras that stretched across the world, a sign of balance returning. But in the far corners of the galaxy, the green light continued to spread, gathering, growing stronger. The Voth ships moved through hyperspace like living storms, their path set toward one small blue world. Mara's voice faded into the wind. They are coming, Ryan, but this time, we are not broken. He looked out at the stars, fists clenched, eyes hard. Then let them come. And in that moment, Earth, the planet that had died, the world that had been forgotten, breathed again. Its people, scattered for millennia, had found their way home. And though the darkness was coming, humanity would face it together. Because after 3,500 years, they no longer fought to avenge Earth's fall. They fought to protect its rebirth.